Guys, sometimes in your relationship, you have to play 5D chess. It's just how it is. There's no need to complain about it. You have to zoom out and think a bit more strategically about how you can get what you want without dealing with certain pitfalls like people attaching controlling labels on you. In this call, you're going to see a caller who called into my live show with that specific situation. He was navigating a situation with his girlfriend where she was calling him controlling because he was trying to directly get what he wants from her instead of playing 5D chess. And you're going to see exactly what I tell him to ultimately solve the problem. So give it a watch. This is going to be incredibly helpful for you all who are in a similar situation. So if you want to avoid any kind of friction in a relationship and her calling you controlling, and even worse, doing the opposite of what you would like your woman to do for the health of the entire relationship, make sure to pay very close attention.
How do you go about, let's say you get into a fresh relationship and you have certain rules within yourself that you don't really allow and certain things you don't do in a relationship, right? The way that I usually go about things is I kind of let the woman do what she wants to do. And then on a 3 to 6 month basis, I'm like, okay, she did this, she did that, that, and the third. This is not the woman for me, right? And I found myself in a situation where I started to like somebody a lot. And I kind of just started to tell her, you probably shouldn't be doing this, probably shouldn't be doing that. And then she called me controlling, right? So I guess my main question is it better to kind of like don't say anything and let the woman do her thing, or kind of like tell her not to do certain things or to do certain things? I don't know if you get my question, but yeah.
Kind of. Give me specifics though. What were you trying to tell her not to do?
Okay, for example, not to go to a bar with her coworkers if it's too late. You know, a bar that turns into a club or something like that, right?
Okay.
In my previous relationships, I would not give a fuck. I wouldn't say nothing about it. I just let them do whatever they want to do, and I'd break up because I don't care, right?
Okay.
But I found myself with this woman that I'm with right now that I'm kind of like emotionally attached to her, so I'm kind of like trying to help her avoid doing certain things that will jeopardize what we got going on. So, yeah.
Are y'all in a relationship?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Okay, so she's trying to go out to a bar at what time? You said too late. So what time are we talking?
Yeah, too late. Too late's like 11. Yeah.
Okay. Go out to a
Um,
bar at 11 and you said that she will be controlling. Is this something that she frequently would do, or is this like a more of a rare experience?
oh, it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. I guess my question is mainly, like, is it better to just let the woman do what she wants to do,
It's to a
and
point.
then
It's to a point,
okay,
and you got to use discernment. And this situation is pretty much harmless because the assumption is what's underneath this suggestion that you're making is I don't trust that you're going to hold it down. So I need to stop you from getting putting yourself in bad situations.
hmm
Problem with that is you can't it's not a sustainable strategy.
okay,
Right? If you're with someone and you can't trust them around other people, you're just with the wrong person.
mm,
Now, with that being said, there are times where you have to kind of like put, you know, those boundaries up, right? If it's like a more extreme situation, right? Let's say she wants to go to, why I just think of Freaknik. It's not even a thing anymore. Let's say like she wanted to go to Houston spring break,
huh? Oh
right?
hell no. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? It's way worse than what you were talking about. Way worse. Like, oh, my girls invite me to Houston spring break. I would think that's a shit test, really. It's really to see if you won't let
Oh
her
yeah,
go.
for sure,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
And it's like something like that. You go to Houston spring break where because you already know what the vibe's going to be. The bar, you can argue like, yeah, there might be guys there that want her, but so are the guys at Publix in the grocery store. You
hmm
know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like it's relatively harmless. Doing something that extreme though is like, oh, you are intentionally putting yourself in the lion's den. You're not respecting this relationship. So yeah, I would probably
Right.
break up with you just for asking the question like that.
Right.
Just for being goofy like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a matter of degree. It's like how severe is the situation, right? Especially if you look at this as like you're going to come across a little bit controlling when you do it, so you might as well pick your battles with it. and going to the bar at 11 p.m. is really not that big a deal, especially if it's not a regular occurrence. If it's like a rare occurrence, her going out.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes complete sense, man. To be honest with you, I've been dating for quite a while, and I this is the first time I found myself emotionally attached to a woman, bro. And it's effing me up right now, to be honest with you. And I'm already seeing it in the comments. The women are saying, "Oh, Mr. Controlling, Mr. Controller, Mr. This and that." Right. I think I'm having a hard time differentiating being controlling and being a man and telling my woman that you shouldn't be doing this right now.
Yeah,
right?
it's a real
And
tension. And hopefully what we just talked about gave you clarity, but that's something that women, they don't have to think about because it's a different dynamic. They're playing a different role, right? So it's like, but we got to think about those type of things. So it's like, okay, how do we balance between actually serving the relationship and putting those boundaries up there? That's our role as leaders, right? Part of being a leader is creating that structure as part of masculinity, right? You create the structure, right? Women are more in the generally speaking, like there are women who are very, depending on her level of psychological development, right? There are very high quality women out there who are psychologically developed, who can kind of lead themselves. They don't really, they've integrated their masculinity to a degree to where they can provide their own structure. They exist.
right,
But generally speaking, a lot of women are in that girls just want to have fun mindset. They're not even
exactly,
thinking about
right,
all of the things you're thinking about when you're suggesting not doing the activity, right? And that is part of our role, right? So it's you just want to think about where it's coming from, what place is it coming from, right? So really introspect and say, why does this feel threatening to me? Is it because I feel like she's in a vulnerable position, or do I feel like this is a threat because she may be taken from me, right? And if you're coming from that place, you're probably thinking about it wrong. But then you also factor in the variable of like if it's a severe situation. The woman who's going out to the bar rarely is not going to ever do the example that I gave, which is like go to Houston spring break, right? Like she's
yeah,
just not that
yeah,
type of girl. But you get the distinction though, right?
yeah, for sure,
So yeah,
for sure.
that's how I would embrace it, man, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The reason why I brought it up to her recently about the bar club situation is because she's, bro, you kind of have to pick your battles, right? Because she's extremely feminine. She's a really feminine woman. She knows what to do and what not to do. But at the same time, she can also be gullible. She thinks that people have the best interests at heart for her. She thinks that, for example, when we first started dating, she think that, oh, men just want to be my friend or whatever. It's like certain guys can be friends with me, blah, blah, blah. Until I was like, you know what? Go ahead, try this with this one guy friend, see what he says, and then fail. She was like, oh my God, this guy was, we were friends for 2 years and I didn't know he was thinking that way of me. You know, she's kind of gullible, right? So when we went out together with some of her friends, some of her work friends, one of them liked to drink. She likes to drink a lot and just do dumb shit, to be honest, right? And then she was like, yo, girl, we got to go out again next week and do this and do that. So it's looking like it might be something that'll be happening more frequently. And to be honest with you, I'm more in the background where I'm like, okay, I want to let her do what she wants to do to see what she'll do. And based on that decision that she makes, I'll make my decision, which is either to break up with her or to obviously keep going with the relationship. Instead of telling her, don't go, right? Because obviously at the end of the day, nobody's forcing you to go to a club, right? So if you go, then you've made your decision type of thing. What do you think about that approach?
There's a higher level here that you're not considering. I got this game from my coach. This is a mistake I actually made in my past relationship. Play a higher game, but you gotta play like 5D chess. So if you're gonna lead her into better friendships, right? So you go out and meet other couples who are probably more positive influences,
Right.
right? If she's naive, then
Yeah.
she may in her naivete, she may go out and just meet friends with people who are not going to be positive influences on her because she don't know any better, right? If you know that, instead of directly addressing it, zoom up a level and then just orchestrate the social engagements in general, right? So it's like if you want her to have better friends, then introduce her to better friends because she clearly wants friends. So this woman
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
friend.
she does. She does.
So it's like, okay, if she
Yeah,
wants
you're right.
friends, okay, let me go out and lead socially, right? You probably already lead financially, you lead in other ways. Okay, let's lead socially now. Let me go and introduce my lady, to these other couples who have similar values, not force a relationship, not be like you must be friends with her, but like no, just you just facilitate the process. Then she may be like, oh, I like Tasha, and
Yeah.
Tasha's been married for
Yeah.
10 years, and knows has the wisdom of what it's like to be in a relationship, knowing that like being with somebody, it's not about you just doing whatever you want to do all the time,
Mm.
right? And she may give her that game because if Tasha's her friend, Tasha's going to be who she goes to complain about the relationship, and you want someone who's going to reinforce positive relationship views during that moment.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a very good point, and I've actually started to do exactly just that, right? I've introduced her a lot to some of my married friends that has kids and whatnot. But again, my issue with some of her friends are the people that she grew up with. You know, she grew up with certain people that I don't really like, and people that she works with, for example, I don't really have control over that, right? So I can obviously introduce her to new people and my friends, but the people that she's already around are kind of like my issues,
Yeah,
and and I don't want to force myself in there and be like, you know what, this person, you probably shouldn't be around them. You probably shouldn't hang around them
you have to
because
you have to you have to take that slow though. Like if you genuinely are seeing that the people that she are friends with are an issue, and this is a problem um, that women don't see because they don't see it from the man's perspective. A lot of women get into goofy situations because of their friends. It
yeah,
happens. It happens all the time, man. It happens
yeah.
all the time, bro. I'm not saying
And
men
then she'll
don't.
call me. She's like, "Can you pick me up? This happened. She couldn't be there for me. Then I have to drive 2 hours and go get her and
You
all
see
that.
what I'm
You
saying?
know,
Yeah.
it's
So
happened
now,
already."
now, 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 our friends, like it's little stuff like you just said. It's like it happens all the time. It's not to say that it doesn't happen with men too, but it happens a lot with women. So it's like you'll see women. This is a cliche example. A lot of women have said like they were friends with someone and the guy. I've experienced this personally. I remember my ex had a homegirl she had met, and I was like, she's jealous of you. She's like, no, she's not. I said, I promise you, she is. I watched y'all. She don't like you like that. And then guess what happened a month later? That jealousy came up, and I didn't know this was like a regular thing with like in relationships. It's like the guy looks at the woman's friends and be like, oh, shorty don't fuck with you like that for real, and she just can't see it. She can't see it. She's too close to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So then she sees it and she's like, oh shit, he was right. And it's like, yeah. Because we I don't know why that's the case, but we could just see things like that, right? So if you do see people who are actually uh, a bad influence,
influence.
you can't just be like, don't talk to that person. You have to let her come to that conclusion herself. So like,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
point out some of the things. Like when you even said like, you think that was a good thing. You think like friendships are important, right? You want to have friendships for life, right? You want friends who are going to treat you well and look out for you. Do you think she was being a good friend when she kind of left you in that situation, had to pick you up, right? Like if I did that, I would be a bad boyfriend, right? So you think she's a good friend if she does stuff like that? You gotta plant the seed a little bit. Get her gears turned. She probably isn't thinking about it in that way. So you have to like
Yeah,
help her come to that conclusion herself instead of being like, don't talk to her anymore. Because then you're gonna trigger
yeah,
that rebellious nature of like, oh, you said don't do it, now I got to do it, right? Let her see
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
oh, right, like I did with the jealousy thing. I like gave her an example of jealousy. She thought about it, and then she actually saw a more extreme version of the jealousy. She was like, you were right about her. She doesn't fuck with me at all. I'm like, yeah, I tried to tell you.
Mm. Right. That's honestly that's kind of like my situation right now, and I guess which leads me to my next question. What does it look like for you to repeat yourself in situations? You know, this one friend has left her stranded one time, and I had to go pick her up 2 hours from my location, and the friend couldn't be there for her at the end of the day, right? And I'm like, you know what? You should probably not be with this friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what if she's now, because she said it before, she's had this friend for many, 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 many years before we got together, and she has excuses for the friend and why the friend does what she does, right? And again, from naturally the type of person that I am, I don't really like to repeat myself. If you want to do something, you do it, and then you reap the consequences, right? Now, how would you approach that? Would you repeat yourself, or would you then let her do what she wants to do, and then what?
No, if there's like a resistance and it's really creating a problem in a relationship, here's the thing. I personally, at this phase, I wouldn't even deal with somebody like that. I'd rather sacrifice some femininity if it saves me like peace of mind.
Mm,
Because you want a woman, I prefer to deal with a woman who's going to add value to my life, like I'm adding to hers. So I want someone
mhm.
who I appreciate her mind, someone who's intelligent, someone who I admire, not just for their beauty, but also because she can add to my life, right? I'm not looking for someone who I have to do all the thinking for them.
Yeah, man, that's the situation, bro.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
you
the
make the, but
situation
that's the
right there.
sacrifice, right? When you try to maximize femininity, the
Yeah.
more femininity, the less they have that quality that I'm talking about, right? So it's like you get the benefit of like someone who's super feminine, but then also it's like you got to make all the decisions, you got to do all the thinking, you got to. It's like having a toddler,
Yeah.
you got to child proof the house, damn near.
Yeah.
So it's like, um, do you want to deal with that? I don't, right? I'd rather have a more of a balance. Let's get 60, let's get 70% femininity and then 30% masculinity. I think that's a good balance for someone like
Right.
me. I don't need you to be 100% feminine because then it's like I want to be able to come to you for advice sometimes. Like, what do you think about this? I want to respect your like. A lot of guys are in, or they really have like a father daughter dynamic. They would never go to their woman and be
Yeah.
like, "What do you think about this?" They would never do that because they don't respect her opinion on anything,
Mm,
right? I want to respect
mm,
your opinion. I'm still going to lead and stuff like that and provide, but it's like I still want your perspective on things. So for me to want your perspective, it means that I must trust your judgment. I want
right.
a queen who has, you know, who's wise, who can actually provide wise
Hmm.
counsel.
Hmm.
And
No,
you
that's a
don't get
very
it.
good point.
Yeah, you don't get it all. That's the thing. You don't get it
Yeah.
all. You're always sacrificing something. Trade. This life is about trade offs. There's always trade offs.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are like, "Oh, I want the feminine." It's like, okay, you can have the feminine, but just know what that comes with.
No, that's a very good point because you mentioned something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, which is always having to think for the other person and what she's doing, always having to like kind of like plan her steps for her. You know, you probably should be doing this and all that. And again, like as somebody that's like she's extremely feminine and emotional, it's very hard to deal with. But at the same time, you know, I love her. She's a great person. She's
Hmm.
you know she has great qualities and whatnot. Um, but yeah, that's a good point. The last thing I'm gonna say is though, I did see a comment in the section that said she's already called him controlling. She's gonna be observing, which is why I'm like maybe I should lay low and let her do what she wants to do, and then kind of like then give her some more advice a bit later on when she's done doing whatever she wants to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I would not die on the hill of like her going out to the bar. I wouldn't die on that hill.
Mm,
I would just let her do that. I mean, like, people hyperfixate on the word let, but I would just not have a problem with that so much.
right.
Because it's really not problematic to go out to a bar. Like people have to live their lives. And again, if someone's going to cheat on you, bro, they're going to cheat on you. You can't stop it.
Yeah,
So
they will. Yeah.
if that's the fear, then it's like you just gotta accept that the game is the game. But yeah, hopefully you get someone who you can trust. But that again comes into like the femininity play, where it's like the real feminine girls, man, they live in the present moment. They're not thinking about none of that shit. It's la
Yeah,
la
they
la la
not,
la
bro.
la 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 la. That's the real feminine girls. It's la 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 up here. I'm telling you. That don't mean they're stupid or anything either. It just means it's just no real structure there. I'm telling you, that's just how they are.
Man.
So yeah, it's you're gonna have to, like I said, that childproof analogy is spot on. You're gonna have to childproof shit. You're just gonna have to.
Yeah.
That's just that's
Yeah.
part of your role.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's not even about her going to the bar or the club. It's me going. She invited me over actually last time, like I said, to meet her friends and her coworkers and whatnot. I sat. I was just observing everybody, just watching people. And some people were like, "Yeah, we're gonna get hammered tonight," like we're gonna get hammered. And this one shorty, she was talking about yeah, where the niggas at? Oh, my bad. She was like, yeah, where the dudes at? Oh, but my bad, TikTok. My bad. That's my fault.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then she looked at my girl and she was like, yeah, we gotta do this again next week. I ain't say nothing, right? So it's more about the people that's around her and her living in the present moment. That's the issue. So I'm like, something may be on the way and she doesn't see it coming, you know? But then I can't tell her because I'll be controlling. But I digress.
That's true.
appreciate your
I
time.
heard a guy who I used to follow. I don't know if I mentioned RSD to you before. I'm not saying that I naturally agree with him, but I thought it was a very interesting idea. He was like, nowadays, I'm gonna tell you the real game. You gotta befriend everybody. He was like, you gotta make the friends like you. He said you fucking make the friends like you. Go out with them. You buy shots for everybody. You make the friends like you, right? It gets an investment because he's like, because eventually she's gonna go and complain about you, and you want them on your side. Oh, that's an interesting thought,
That's a
right?
good plan.
You definitely don't want to be the guy who's like judging them and being standoffish because they're like, oh, fuck this guy, right? But if they really
Yeah.
genuinely like you, they might be like, well, Tiffany, is that really a good idea? You know what I mean? He's kind of a good guy. Is it really a good idea? Like, get them to like you, win them over a little bit, win the family over. If a brother needs a job, you get your connections involved and get them employment, right? It's like you just win everybody over. So whoever she complains to, like you better not fuck that up, right? I thought it was a good idea. I think it's like kind of overkill, but I think that it definitely requires some thought. But yeah,
Hey man, it's overkill, but it's not at the same time because I've done that with some of her friends, her mom and her sister. Full proof. She can't say nothing about me to her mom and sister. They'll
mm,
get they'll get on her ass about it. But no, when I did go out with the friends though, I was watching some people. This one guy, he was apparently, he's gay. 2026, cool, yeah, you can be gay, whatever.
right.
Right? I was watching everybody, man, just to see, and he was like, yeah, she's like a little sister to me. I looked at him like, yeah, okay, cool, you like a little sister to you, bro. Cool, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah,
it's just yeah, anyways, bro, I appreciate your time. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but
no problem, bro.
yeah.
Definitely keep me posted on how it goes, all right? As you can see, a lot of these situations require a lot of nuance. If you're trying to copy and paste a black and white rule in your specific situation, it can lead you to ruin. It can absolutely cripple a relationship that otherwise could work. So if you want to avoid those pitfalls, if you want to avoid destroying a relationship that actually could work out, or if you're in a different situation where you're trying to navigate the dating landscape and adjust and adapt to a lot of the changes that have occurred recently, there's been a lot of changes, right? You should hire me for coaching. I have a 1 hour coaching call that will help you walk you through any specific situation you're dealing with a woman that you're in a relationship with or the dating landscape as a whole. So I have a link below in the description if you would like to book that, and I look forward to speaking with you.